My name is Hannah, and this is my no-buy year. Okay, this is the first of what has turned out to be a series about how I handle my hair pretty much in every way. For a couple of weeks back in September, I think it was September at this point. I'm so sorry, you guys. This has taken forever, but once you understand how much footage there was and see how long it all is, you'll understand why it's taken me so long. Back in September, for a couple of weeks, I filmed myself handling my hair every morning and every evening for the 2 weeks that it took me to go from wash to wash. I just documented absolutely everything I chose to do during those 2 weeks to get the kind of gritty, messy, slept-in volume and texture that I like my hair to have without heat styling. So I'm going to take that footage, edit it down, and split it into 2 videos so that neither one of them will be too long. So there will be a part 1 and then a part 2 of my hair check-ins saga. But I didn't want to attach all of the background information about my hair and about hair in general that I've gathered over the years to those videos to make them even longer. I decided to film a separate video giving you all the background information, and that's what this is. So this video is briefing you on my hair type, how I cut, style, and wash my hair, and the types of products that I use in my hair. Let's go ahead and get right into the meat of the video. All right, let's start with my hair type. This is my natural hair color. I've only dyed it twice in my life, and both of those times it was just a purple accent. So the first time I had a couple of stripes of brilliant blue purple added into my hair. I'll insert pictures if I can find them. And then the second time I had it dyed, it was just a purple ombre, just the tips. It was like the very, maybe about 2 or 3 inches of purple in the tips of my hair, and that was at this point a couple of years ago. The very last haircut that I had, which was actually right after I finished filming all of my check-ins, so I've had a trim in between the video footage and now, that was, I think, the last of the bleached tips. I don't think any of the hair that's currently on my head has been bleached or dyed, but during the check-ins that I filmed, you might notice, and you might have been noticing over the course of this year, a very blonde aspect just to the very tips of my hair, and that's left over from when the tips of my hair were bleached so that they could be dyed purple. My hair is pretty thick and it does have a natural wave and texture. However, because it is so heavy, it tends to straighten itself out if I don't do things to cause it to enhance its own texture. And that's kind of the battle that I'm always fighting. My hair can either be textured and volumized, or it can be kind of flat and straight and lifeless. And I'm trying to do everything I can to get it to be more texturized and volumized, to encourage it in that version of its natural shape. I don't know if this is true, but I've heard that redheads tend to have hair with long memory, which means that it holds the shape that you put it in. Whether that's true or not of redheads, I do think it is true of me, and I tend to take extreme advantage of that, as you will see in the forthcoming videos. I basically tend to bully my hair into holding the shape that I want it to have. And it does tend to agree to hold the shapes that I put it in. I think that that's partly because of the tactics and the products that I use, but I think it's also partly because of my hair type. I'm well aware that there are many different kinds of hair, and all of the tactics that I have developed are specific to my hair. I'm expecting the comment section to be full of people saying, oh, I could never do X because my hair is different from your hair in Y way. I know that what I do won't work for everyone, but this video has been requested hundreds of times on my channel, so here I am. I'm not a hairstylist, so the best I can do is just to show you what I do and show you what works for me, and if you can learn something from watching me, then great. Let's talk about haircuts. I get my hair cut about twice a year, sometimes every 8 months, so it ends up being maybe twice every 3 years. I try to go in about every 6 months, but I find that the longer I go without getting it cut, the better it looks. And I'm always just driven to finally go in and get the cut because I know that it's getting to the point where it's unhealthy because I haven't had it trimmed. My stylist here in LA is Rosemary at Foxtail Salon in Silver Lake, and she is amazing. If you live in LA and you like a natural cut, she's the one. When I lived in Ann Arbor, Michigan, my stylist was Jennifer Levine, and she was amazing, especially for long, thick hair. And when I lived in Portland, my stylist was Christian McNutt, also excellent. I will link all three of them down below in case you happen to live in LA, Portland, or Ann Arbor, Michigan. Styling. I very, very, very rarely heat style my hair. I do not own a blow dryer. I do own a curling iron, but I haven't been curling my hair lately. It's probably been over a year since I curled my hair. I'll reach for it on really specific certain occasions when I feel like I need it, but it's not a habitual thing for me. I style my hair without heat, and that is the vast majority of what I'm demonstrating in the second and third video, so you will see that then. All right, the biggie, the big question, the big topic, washing. I thought that I washed my hair every 7 to 10 days, and that's what I've been saying on this channel for months. But when I actually sat down and filmed my check-ins and tracked the entire process, I discovered that I'm really only washing my hair once every 2 weeks. I usually go at least 10 days, and more often than that, 12 to 14 days before washing my hair again. So I think that I can officially say that I wash my hair about twice a month. I had to work up to this, and that's what I'm about to talk about. I also want you to know that everything in the other 2 videos is predicated on this, on getting to a point where your hair is sustainably able to go a week or 2 without being washed. If your hair is overproducing oil because you are overwashing it, then many of the tactics that I demonstrate in the upcoming videos won't work for you, because by day 2, your hair will be full of oil. And so the things that I'm doing to get my hair to have shape and body just won't be effective. So if you're interested in kind of following in my footsteps in terms of the way that you deal with your hair, but you're currently washing your hair every day or every other day, then the first step is slowly starting to expand the length of time that you can go without washing your hair and without it getting oily. It's a process. I think it usually takes a couple of months, but I'm going to let you know things you can do to go ahead and start that process. Now, if you're a really oily skinned person and you think that the reason that my hair is the way it is just because I'm genetically predisposed or blessed or whatever, you might object to what I'm about to say. But if you are washing your hair every day because it's oily, I strongly believe that it's oily because you are washing it every day. And that is based on my own experience, because I have gone through periods of time in my life when I was washing my hair more frequently, and it was much more oily than it is now, even though I'm a generally dry-skinned person. So I felt like I had to keep washing it because it kept getting oily. I have been trapped in that vicious cycle. I have broken out of that cycle, and I have gotten to a point where I can happily go 2 weeks without washing my hair, and I can boss it around and get it to do almost whatever I want it to do without heat styling. So I have these beliefs, and they're based on my own experience. I know everyone's hair is different, but I believe that if you wash your scalp with soap every day, if you strip your scalp every day, your scalp will overproduce oil, just like your skin. I believe that many of us, especially in America, I'm not quite sure about how it goes in other cultures, but in America, in my experience, many of us are overwashing our hair. If you want volume at the roots, you have to get your scalp to stop overproducing oil. And in order to do that, you have to stop washing your hair so frequently. So if you're on board, if you want to do the shampoo detox, here's what I did and here's what I recommend. You basically have to just suck it up and not wash your hair for 2 weeks to get the ball rolling. If you really need to wash it, you can wash it with water, but not with soap. So you could rinse out the oils that your scalp is producing, but don't put any kind of shampoo or soap into your hair. If it gets really, really bad, you can use a paste made out of baking soda and water and rub that into your scalp. That really helps, but it doesn't strip the oils from the scalp. I mean, it will help clean some oil out, but it won't overstrip. But I don't recommend doing that every day in lieu of shampoo, just because you're having a hard time getting used to going without washing your hair. I would save that for maybe once a week if you really, really need it. But if you can handle just going a couple days at a time without washing, and then one day washing with water only, and then a couple more days without washing, etc., stick with that. No soap. For those 2 weeks, it'll get really oily, especially if you're coming from a place of washing your hair every day because it's oily. It will get really, really oily. But eventually your scalp will adjust. It might take longer than the 2 weeks, and if you feel like you really need to wash it and then start over again with 2 weeks again, that's okay, but go as long as you can. Eventually your scalp will adjust, it will stop overproducing oil. I did go through it myself. I went through having kind of that oily smelling hair, that limp hair, limp at the roots. Spent a lot of days in a row just keeping my hair up in a bun, keeping it back in a ponytail while I went through the adjustment process. And I would say it took about a month, I think, when I initially went through this. When I bring this up with my friends, because many of my friends and acquaintances ask me about my hair and are surprised when they find out how infrequently I wash it, and then they start inquiring. A lot of times the first objection is, what about exercise? What about sweat, right? What about if you go to the gym and you work up a really intense sweat? I do not exercise, or I haven't been doing rigorous exercise every single day lately, but I do work up a sweat every day, either walking to work or teaching tango or dancing tango or both or all three. And sometimes I go to Bikram yoga, which is a very, very sweaty enterprise. Sweat in my hair is not really gross to me. It evaporates and it's just minerals. It's just salt. It's salt from your body. It's not the same as armpit sweat. I don't feel like it's my lymph system detoxing through my scalp. And I'm just saying this, I'm not a doctor, I'm just making this up, kind of. But I do feel like the sweat that comes out of my armpits, which is like the lymph system detoxing from here, is not the same as the sweat that comes through my scalp. That doesn't have the same gross smell. It doesn't feel gross to me. And I don't mind it. I actually don't mind getting my hair a little sweaty, having it completely evaporate and dry, and then having that kind of grit in my hair. I feel like it makes my hair piecier, grittier, more volumized, kind of like going to the beach and letting the salt water spray into your hair and letting the salt wind blow through your hair. Kind of like using a salt spray, which is something that we spend money to buy to spray into our hair. I just am not grossed out by the idea and the feeling of sweat drying in my hair and staying there. If you want to try what I'm proposing, but you genuinely cannot handle that feeling, rinse with water. Just rinse the sweat out with water. You definitely don't need more than water just to rinse sweat out of your hair. Let it dry and continue on. I do live in a dry climate and I also have dry skin. I know that oily skinned people tend to get more oily in their hair also, but I do think that even oily skinned people can benefit from washing their hair less frequently. If you have really oily skin, if it's just natural and you have a lot of oil in your scalp all the time, I do think you can still benefit from washing your hair less frequently. You might not ever get to the point where you can go quite as long as me, like the whole 14 days, but I do think that everyone can get to like a 1 week to 10-day point with how long they go between washes. I've had friends with oily skin with thin hair who have done it. You will get there. You'll have much healthier hair for it. It just takes time. All right, let's talk about what I consider to be the least important aspect of this whole situation, which is products. The products I'm using are not specific. You can use anything in the same vein, anything even vaguely in the same universe. I skip around all the time. I'm constantly experimenting, trying out one thing that I happen to have versus another thing that I happen to have. You don't need the ones I have. It's really, really not about the product. It's more about the product type. And even more than that, it's about the way that you employ the product to bully your hair. In general, right now, the things that I like to have on hand are a texturizing cream that's designed to be used on wet hair, so something that you put in your wet hair that helps to texturize it as it dries. I like to have a texturizing spray. I like to have a hairspray, like a good old-fashioned hairspray, and I like to have a dry shampoo. And you will see me use all 4 of those categories of things over the course of my check-ins videos. And that is it for my introduction to my other 2 videos, my forthcoming videos about how I deal with my hair. I can't help but feel like I might have missed something in this intro, and I'm sure that there are a lot of things that will become clear over the course of the other 2 videos, but if you have any questions about the contents of this video specifically, please leave them in the comment section down below and I will absolutely answer your questions. I am a little bit nervous. I mean, I'm not really nervous because I don't care if this happens, but I'm wondering if people are gonna think that it's gross that I don't wash my hair very often. I was raised by a pair of ex-hippies and I did grow up kind of running around barefoot in the mountains of North Carolina. I am a child of the earth in a way, and I just don't really subscribe to most modern obsessions with total cleanliness, I guess. I don't know if that's true. I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Like, does it rub you the wrong way to think about not washing your hair all the time, or to think about sweat drying in my hair? All I can say is that right now I'm into my 2nd week right now. I think I washed my hair last Sunday and I'm filming this on a Monday night. So it's been a week and a bit. And this sort of fuzzy volume and this kind of sculptural business up here, just the general texture and pieciness and lived in kind of casual, sensual shape of my hair is something that I could not achieve without letting it get dirty. And it's not dirty, it doesn't smell, but it's got stuff in it. And I actually went to Bikram yesterday and sweated a ton into my hair. And obviously I took a good shower after that to wash off the rest of my body, but I just let my hair air dry, and that's part of why it looks so good. So I hope that not too many of you will be unsubscribing in disgust when you find out all of this information, but all I can do is tell you the truth, and the truth is I'm really into the natural look for my hair, and I get a lot of questions about that, and the reality is that the natural look comes from it being very natural. Like, my hair is naturally itself. It's living the life that it lives when I don't scrub it clean with soap every day. So keep an eye out for the check-ins videos, the feature-length saga about my hair. That is coming very soon. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you will remember to take extra good care of yourself this week so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.